I think it's important to ask yourself the question, like, am I just kind of a little self check-in? Am I protecting myself or hiding myself right now?
Right.
When it comes to those types of
Yeah.
And if you need protection, pay attention to that. Just allowing myself to be in that moment for somebody that needs help.
Yeah.
It's not about the fix. It's not about
Yeah.
all the problems. It's about helping somebody in need.
Hey, all you midlife women out there, are you ready to step into spicy confidence? If the answer is yes, then we have some exciting news to share.
We are launching a one-on-one coaching program for midlife women who want to start showing up as the most confident version of themselves and who aren't afraid to go after what they really want.
This coaching program will help you discover your voice, embrace your desires, and develop your inner confidence so that you can truly live the authentic life you want without holding back.
There are only 3 spots available, ladies, so head to the link in the show notes and apply now. Now let's get into the episode.
We are diving right in to this episode, right, Jules?
Yes.
And it's all about being soft and strong in midlife, right? That's a pretty super powerful combo if you think about it.
Soft and strong all at the same time would mean that you need to have your feminine wiles out, but at the same time,
Wiles.
your feminine wiles, and you have your hard ass boundaries, and you've established kind of where you're at in life.
Warrior queen and emotional marshmallow in a nutshell, right?
I mean, I'm both.
Well, we have to be.
I know.
And that's what we're going to talk about in this episode. I know a lot of times we're talking about, all the badassness of confident, spicy midlife women, and there is a lot that goes along with that. But
sometimes I just want to have a good cry.
Well, yeah, there's that, because women, we are emotional beings.
Yeah,
we are.
I mean, we're all emotional beings. Men are too emotional beings, but I think when we're talking about the softness and strength, there is. They can be synonymous. You can have both, and a lot of it has to do.
Same damn time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's synonymous. Yeah.
Just being clear. Julie uses fancy words all the time, and I just simplify it. Just to clarify.
It's being the same.
Simplify and clarify.
Yeah. Well, yeah. And I do you struggle with that sometimes? It's like we were just talking earlier about how your softness about like a subject that we were talking about family wise is there. But then I'm like, does it mean that do you feel like you're being enabling when you're being soft, or are you feeling like you have to put up stronger boundaries?
That has to do with, and we'll kind of break this down as we talk about some of this. But I think to redefine softness, it's not about being passive or weak. I think it's really more about being receptive and letting yourself be supported. Think about what that means.
Yeah.
Right.
That's hard. It's hard to ask for help.
Yes.
Yeah.
Letting yourself be supported. It's about emotional intelligence. And I think also, about getting rid of some of that armor that we build up around us as we're moving through our 20s and 30s and into midlife as we start powering through 40s and beyond.
Being vulnerable, really, to some degree. Now we're not talking emotional, well, we are talking a little bit about emotional, vulnerability, I suppose, but I'm not talking like relationship stuff. It's just more like being vulnerable with how you're feeling about certain things or what's bothering you.
Yeah, what you allow. I think too, what you're allowing into your life. So if I had to think of an example about softness, this is something that comes to mind is, so my ex-husband had a lot of health challenges, like a lot. And I remember running into him at the grocery store one day, and he had to use one of those cart things that you sit in and drive around. He had heart issues, right? And I saw his car outside. I knew he was in the store. I saw his car as I was leaving. I went back in because I knew he was in there. And I found him on one of the aisles, and I decided to help him with the rest of his grocery shopping. That's a softness that I allowed myself to be in that moment because, based on there's a lot of circumstances wrapped up into what our relationship was and how it ended up being. We divorced after 26 years, right? So And does that mean that I was being, passive and a pussy in that moment? And just like, no, I think that's what being strong and soft is. I think to me, is an example
Yeah.
of wrapping it up all into one, right?
Well, and then what if he had taken that as an opportunity to kind of get in to have you do more things for him? So
Yeah.
that's where the strength comes in.
Yeah,
You know?
that's where the strength comes in, and two, just allowing myself to be in that moment
Mhm.
for somebody that needs help.
Yeah.
It's not about the past. It's not about
Yes.
all the problems. It's about helping somebody in need.
Mhm.
We have, of course, a history. And yeah, I went and I was his legs. I went and found things, brought him back to the cart, helped him through the line, carried him to the car, and followed him home and carried him in for him.
Wow.
And that's not to pat me on the back, but it's just an example of, it's okay to allow yourself to be in those moments if it's appropriate.
Mhm.
And sometimes.
So in that regard, when with what you're talking about, there is another word that we want to throw in here, and that is forgiveness. You've
Well,
obviously
yeah, there's that.
forgiven him. You don't
Mhm.
forget,
Yeah.
but you've forgiven a lot of things. Like we were talking before we got started about divorce and about just some of the issues that have come up over time, and how sometimes they're not resolved. But at the same time, it's like when catastrophic things happen,
Yeah.
or when there is a need for you to have that soft side, it's there. You kind of
Mhm.
forgo a lot of those other things that you were holding resentments about
Yeah.
or judgments about, because you're dealing with like core human issues that
Yeah.
you might have yourself someday, and you would
Yeah.
hope someone would be kind about it too.
Well, and honestly, that was a time of softness that surprised me.
Yeah.
It did surprise me. It's not like I was planning or that I would do that on, you know what I
Right.
mean, at any given time. It was just like in the moment kind of a thing. But that softness, that did surprise me.
Yeah.
And there will be moments for you, in paying attention. And again, just to repeat, it doesn't mean you're being passive or walked on or,
Mhm.
in any of that stuff. That's a true,
But it could mean that.
if you allow it to be.
Right. If
Yeah.
you're not identifying the issues around what's happening there, and you're allowing that person to take it to another level. I mean, I can think of a situation where I did that.
Mhm.
Like when there was a woman who needed a place to stay, and I happen to
Yeah.
have a cottage, my Airbnb here. And I don't even remember how I came across her to begin with, but clearly a woman in need, clearly someone who she didn't have anywhere to go. I think I'd met her because she'd stayed here before, so she had my number and everything. But um, I allowed that to happen. I allowed her to stay, and I wasn't expecting anything from her in return. But what I found was that she kind of took advantage, or
Yeah.
started to try to take advantage of my good nature about it. And so it wasn't like I had judgment about it or anything. It was just kind of more like, what the fuck? I mean, I just felt like, she would talk. People say a lot. They'll reciprocate. Oh, I'm so happy. Thank you, thank you, thank you. But really, it's like actions and words are two very different things,
Mhm. Yeah.
And so when you're being soft about something, you're not doing it with the intention of someone taking advantage of you, but you know that might be
Well,
something that could happen.
yeah, you're just being yourself, and you
Yeah.
don't want to live your life like
No.
based on how other people's
Which is
actions
exactly what
are.
I think I said to you guys.
Yeah.
It's kind of like, it is what it is. If
Yeah.
I was in a situation, or my daughter was in a situation.
Because
like
she
this-
says that, Julia's saying that because I kind of have to, because she has like the biggest heart. So, and I try to, I kind of get protective of it every
Yeah.
once in a while, and
I
kind of
cry with
am
all
this,
these.
yeah, I'm this little voice of reason that chirps in her ear, and tries to, kind of, yeah,
Yeah.
like keep it firm every once in a while. But that's where we do have to pay attention to those things. As women, we are, can be emotional. Our hearts are, soft in that way in lots of different circumstances. So,
But it doesn't mean that we're not strong beings, because there's some things that you feel so convicted about, you feel so strongly
yeah.
about, that you have those very clear boundaries, you have a very
Yeah,
clear
that's where
voice
the strength
on.
that I mean, that's
Yes.
what the strength means.
Yeah.
That's what, just like the softness doesn't mean, passive or weak. Now we can talk about the strength. And
Do you
those
think you
things
can do
really
them
need
both at the same time?
absolutely.
Yeah, I do too.
Because just like with these examples, you had to then be strong.
Yeah.
With this woman, you had to set boundaries to make
Mm-hmm.
sure that she wasn't continuing to abuse or take advantage
Mm-hmm.
of the, kindness and softness that you did show initially.
Right.
And same thing, with my ex-husband,
Mm-hmm.
he didn't try, but had he, there's all those boundaries that do have to be set. And I did have boundaries in place.
Mm-hmm.
I had to
I mean, that was a
with
conscious
him.
choice that you made without anybody
Yeah.
asking you. So it's
Yeah,
a very different
exactly.
circumstance. I can think of times when, men and women both, but it's like, think about when there is some catastrophic thing that happens in a family. Say there's a
Mhm.
death in the family or something that's very sudden. It's like you are in a position where you're comforting people and you're trying to give them the shoulder to lean on. You're trying to provide whatever support you need. But at the same time, you might have to be the strong person that's organizing all of the
Mhm.
things that are surrounding that person leaving this earth,
Yeah.
And so you're having to wear both hats. And you're kind of putting your own feelings aside for a
Yeah.
minute, how you're feeling about something.
Yeah.
I think honestly that on a side note is another way to maybe avoid feeling, how you might be feeling about something that's happening too. Speaking from experience, but you have to be able to know that you can do both at the same time.
And that is, like we already mentioned, having boundaries,
Mm-hmm.
right? Self-trust,
Yeah.
trusting in yourself with those types of situations. And when you do have to set those boundaries. And one thing that we like to talk about is saying no.
Yeah.
Being able to say no. It is okay to say no.
Mm-hmm.
And doing it without hesitation.
And, how you do that eloquently is, it's like, I don't think that's going to work for me, but thanks for the invite, that kind of thing.
And walking away from things that
Drain the
you.
hell out of you,
Yeah.
drain your energy. Yeah.
Mhm.
There's
Yeah.
a lot of that out there where you
Yeah.
can put the smile on your face, but at the same time, you're just like, I can't wait to get the hell out of here and
Yeah.
not be in this space with this person.
Know when it's go time.
Yeah.
Like literally go.
Like literally. Yeah.
Yeah. This concept, I think, of, being soft and strong is an interesting one. And some of the things that we've been talking about really kind of portray how the strength that we do have
Mm-hmm.
protects the softness.
Yeah.
Right. For example, being soft with your kids.
Yeah.
But you have to have those strong boundaries in place, right? Or being soft with your partner
Mm-hmm.
or your spouse if you're married, but strong about what you need.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's
and you can still be tender with that person, but know that they need to know kind of where you need them in your life,
Mhm.
and what you need from them.
Yeah.
Let's talk about kids for a second because we were talking about that before too. Don't you think it's just so hard sometimes to just like you want yours? I'm always soft with my kids. Like we were talking
Me
about.
too.
Yeah, like we're talking about today, my daughter having a shitty day. She's just having a shitty day. And I could tell she's having a bad day. There's just a lot coming at her. And so I was like, I'm just going to do some nice things for her to help her feel like she can just take a deep breath. And just, I let her take a nap. I had her take a nap. I made her some things for dinner to take home, just things like that. Now, I'm not saying that to toot my horn. I'm just saying I'm very soft with her. I'm soft with my other kids. And I would, we will all do anything pretty much for our own children. But when there's something that they need, some tough love on, we are the person that's got to provide that.
Yeah.
And if we don't, we're kind of sending mixed signals.
As you're telling that story, I think about how I'm the same way.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I do that because I kind of didn't get that when I needed it. I think that's why I do those things, is to try to
make up for it.
Yeah, in a way. Mm-hmm.
And that might be happening with a lot of our listeners too. They might not have gotten a lot of that softness from their parents at home. And so maybe they're overdoing it with their own children because they're, making up for the things that they didn't feel.
Yeah. Or even earlier in, for me too, it's more so what they didn't get early on because, life was so crazy.
Yeah.
And such a scramble, and the dynamics with the marriage and the home, so many things. And so now that we're beyond that, I'm stronger, I'm wiser. Here we go, the stronger with the softness.
Yeah.
Right. And trying to provide some of that softness that they probably needed when they were younger.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, and they didn't probably know what they don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So anyways,
And you're evolving. You know,
just
we're
thoughts.
evolving too as women. Always. It's like you don't ever stop evolving and learning and figuring out what works for you and figuring that, you know, for example, that a boundary isn't strong enough and you need to reassert that or look at it differently. And that's okay too.
Yeah.
You know, because you may be in situations where you know that people are maybe taking advantage or are coming to you because they know you're a yes person or you're people pleasing, you know, that sort of thing. And so you really have to evaluate if you're how you're feeling about a lot about those things. And do you feel stronger when you say no? And do you feel more comfortable when you say no, or do you avoid it because you don't want to make someone feel bad?
I think it's important to ask yourself the question, like, am I just kind of a little self check-in? Am I protecting myself or hiding myself right now?
Right.
When it comes to those types of situations.
Yeah.
And if you need protection, pay attention to that.
Yeah.
You know, if you feel like you're hiding, pay attention to that.
Have you heard of the 10-second rule?
What's that?
So, and I've heard this before too, where our immediate response sometimes is a very emotional response to something that we're either triggered by or that we have a very strong opinion about or something. And giving yourself
The pause.
the pregnant pause, the 10 seconds to just take a deep breath and kind of think through what you're going to say or how you're going to respond or not respond to something is huge.
I find I do that. Yeah, I find I do that with my adult children at times.
Yeah.
At work at times.
Yeah.
Yeah. A lot of different situations. And I think it's a very good tool to use in those situations. It will help. But definitely being soft and strong, super combo power in midlife.
It's a superpower.
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. What's your superpower?
That is my superpower.
Being soft and strong at the same time.
Yeah. I mean, and I'm always kind of been like, I'm fearless. I'm this, I'm that. But you know what? I have a very, soft, tender side, you know, that, you know, not everybody sees.
It's very powerful.
Yeah.
Very powerful to be able to navigate both.
Yeah.
And to use them. I don't mean this in a bad way, but to, you know, use them advantageously in your life.
And in the circumstances you're in.
Yeah.
So these are some of the things that we will talk about. This is a little bit more of a high level topic, but when we have our coaching program, our Stepping into Spicy Confidence coaching program, we're tailoring a lot of our coaching around the things that you're struggling with in your life. And we have a couple openings available. We're only dealing with like 3 people at a time because it's Michelle and I, and we are really digging in intimately to what's going on with you so we can offer that value and an answer, you know, or help you kind of evolve into your own answers on whatever it is that you're struggling with about your midlife journey. So check us out.
Yep. Out on all the socials, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, as well as YouTube. We are over there. You can find us there. Please subscribe. Link is in all the bios on the socials. So that's where you can get more information on that one-on-one coaching program, as well as spicy merchandise that we have to offer.
Yeah.
T-shirts, hats, bags, notebooks, all kinds of fun stuff.
And if you're thinking about it, we would love to hear from you on moments when you have had to exhibit both strength and softness at the same time, because it is something that you might be doing and you don't even realize it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do a little investigation within and let us know.
Yeah. Okay. So until next week, you guys, stay spicy.
Stay spicy.
And we'll talk with you soon.
Bye.
Bye.